Nephi House here.
Oh.
Huh? Am I recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh. Hey everybody, Nephi House here. I just want to tell you a quick story, at least I think it'll be quick, of the first time that I went ice fishing. I do enjoy ice fishing. I've been a few times. The very first time, I went with my dad and my brothers, who had also never been ice fishing before. And we went with a friend of the family named Keith, because he was the experienced guy that had done it before. And so this was in Utah. There's like a place called Rockport Reservoir, and that's where we went to. We had been kind of planning it for a while, but we finally got around to doing it around May. Thankfully, it was a late winter that year. But still, when we got out to the reservoir to get out onto the ice, there was like a little bit of water here. We kind of had to jump over, or there might have been like a log or two that we could kind of walk on. So went out, and then we found a spot to. First thing you gotta do is dig a hole through the ice with a tool called an auger. And part of our party, I don't remember if it was my dad or Keith, but they'd brought a manual auger that you kind of sit down and then like twist it around like that. And so my dad went ahead and got started doing it, and then he's going hard at it for a while, and then Keith tried it out for a while, and it kind of went back and forth. It was some thick ice, and a manual auger was like super hard work. But there were some other, there were also a few other people, of course, out there ice fishing, and one of them had an electric auger, so of course, we had to try it ourselves first doing the manual auger, being men, before we went ahead and asked somebody to borrow theirs. I'm gonna relocate my son here real quick.
You want to be part of the video too?
Okay. You put a toy that I was about to start climbing up on.
So he could stand and be seen in the video. Very cute.
Oh, love that boy. Okay, so where was I? Electric auger. Yeah, so we got over our manly pride and asked to use one of those electric, probably gas auger. And that made pretty quick work of it. So then we're all fishing down this hole. We might have dug one or two others with the gas one, I'm not sure. But we're probably just all coming down the same hole. And so there's this thing in our family, like we like to go fishing, but we like never hardly catch anything. So we'd like go ahead and put our hooks down into the water with some bait. We're all using the same bait, and none of us are getting anything. And Keith, he puts his down. I guess he was like, he could somehow feel when it hit the bottom, then he lifted it up a certain amount, which he kind of measured. And so he was like pulling up fish after fish. It was like sometimes just like a minute in between like when he'd put it down and when he'd be pulling it up. And it got to the point where, I mean, he was nice enough he'd get it all set up. He'd be like, okay, here you go, Nephi. And so he'd give it to me, and then I'd feel the fish, like, okay, let's go ahead and reel it in. But yeah, maybe I caught one fish completely myself that day, but I mean, he caught a ton. Like, we had them all in a bucket. Fun fact, with ice fishing, when you catch a fish, the way that you store it, you just kind of toss it out on the ice and it like freezes, and then you put it in a bucket. So you don't really have to like do much in the way of like keeping track of it like you do with like regular fishing. So and one of the reasons I wanted to share that is because it's kind of like, I mean, how it applies to affiliate marketing or any marketing is that you're always putting out all these hooks, all this bait, to see what people are attracted to, what can help them to come into your business and ultimately become a paying customer. And if you don't know how to do it right, then you're just like me putting it down in that hole and getting maybe one fish out of the whole day. But Keith obviously had it figured out. It's like somebody that has been testing out different hooks and always trying new ones and seeing how they do. And that's kind of the purpose behind me doing Facebook Lives and podcasts and things like that, is to tell different stories and see what really clicks with people. So the best part of the story, after we were done with our fishing there, so we go ahead and start back to the shore. And you know how there was like maybe like a 3-foot gap or so between the land and the ice when we went out? Well, the sun had been beating on the ice all day. And instead of that small gap, it was about 100-foot gap. This may be one of those fishing legends where I expand it every time, I'm not sure. Keith, he starts just walking towards it, falls in through the ice, which, I mean, there's like, you should see the look on my wife's face when I said so like out where like the ice is starting to get thin and get to the edge, so he falls in, and at that point we figured out that, okay, thank goodness this is shallow enough that we're not like gonna like drown by falling in. It's not like in those movies, like a little, I don't know. Anyways, so we've got all this gear with us, so Keith is awesome and just starts bringing gear from one side to the other. He starts taking one of my brothers. My dad says, my dad cracks me up sometimes. So he's like, hey Nephi, I've got an idea. How about you go ahead and let's see how far you can run on that ice before you fall in. He kind of made it as a little challenge for me. So I go ahead and I run, and soon enough I'm falling down into the water. Ice cold water. Better drunken than fallen into. Very cold. So I went ahead and got it out, but so that is my ice fishing story. It was very cold. So moral of the story, don't go ice fishing in May, even if there's a late winter. So I think that's everything I had to share. Have a great evening, everybody, and I think we're all looking forward to Friday.